Namaskritya Naram Chavanarottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayed Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 21, Text 26. Jaigishavya Upadeshena Jaigishavyopadeshena Yogatantram Chakara Ha Yogatantram Chakaraha Udakshenaha Udaksenaha Tataha Tasmat Udaksenastatastasman Bhallato Bharadishavaha Bhallato Bharadishavaha Jaigishavyopadeshena Yogatantram Chakaraha Udaksenastatastasman Bhallato Bharadishavaha Jaigishavyopadeshena Yogatantram Chakaraha Udaksenastatastasmad Bhallato Bharadishavaha. Jaigishavya of the great rishi named Jaigishavya. Upadeshena by the instruction. Yogatantram an elaborate description of the mystic yoga system. Chakara compiled. Ha in the past. Udaksenaha Udaksena. Tataha from him. Vishwaksena. Tasmat from him. Udaksena. Ballataha a son named Ballata. Barhadishavaha. All of these are known as descendants of Brihadishu. Translation by His Divine Grace, Shri Charna Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Following the instructions of the great sage Jaigishavya, Vishwaksena compiled an elaborate description of the mystic yoga system. From Vishwaksena, Udaksena was born, and from Udaksena, Ballata. All these sons are known as the descendants of Brihadishu. Can kindly repeat the translation? Following the instructions of the great sage Jaigishavya, Vishwaksena compiled an elaborate description of the mystic yoga system. From Vishwaksena, Udaksena was born, and from Udaksena, Bhallata. All these sons are known as descendants of Brihadishu. There are no purports to the series of verses following this verse. So we will just read the verse and the translations, which will end this chapter. Text 27. Yavinaro dvimidhasya kritimam statsutta smritaha namna satyadritastasya dridam nemi suparshvakrit. The son of Dvimidha was Yavinara, whose son was Kritiman. The son of Kritiman was well known as Satyadriti. From Satyadriti came a son named Dridhanemi, who became the father of Suparshva. Suparshvat Sumatistasya Putra Sannitimam Stataha Kriti Hiranyabhad Yogam Prapya Jagausma Shat Samhita Pratyasam Nam Vai Nipo hi Udgrayudas Tataha Tasya Kshemya Suvirotha Suvirasya Ripunjaya. From Suparshva came a son named Sumati. From Sumati came Sannatiman. And from Sannatiman came Kriti, who achieved mystic power from Brahma and taught 6 Samhitas of the Pratyasama verses of the Samaveda. The son of Kriti was Nipa, the son of Nipa Udgrayudha, the son of Udgrayudha Kshemya, the son of Kshemya Suvira, and the son of Suvira Ripunjaya. Text 30. Tato bahurato nama purumidho prajo bhavad nalinyam ajamidhasya Neelashantistu tat sutaha. From Ripunjaya came a son named Bahurata. Purumidha was sonless. Ajamedha had a son named Neela by his wife known as Nalini, and the son of Neela was Shanti. Texts 31 to 33. Shante sushantis tat putra purujor kastato bhavat bharmyashvas tanayastasya panchasan mudgaladayah yavinaro brihad vishva kampilla sanjaya sutaha bharmyashva praha putra me panchanam rakshanayahi vishayanam alam ime iti panchala samgritaha mudgalad brahma nivrittam gotram maudgalya samgritam. The son of Shanti was Shushanti, the son of Sushanti was Puruja, and the son of Puruja was Arka. From Arka came Bharmyashva, and from Bharmyashva came 5 sons, Mudgala, Yavinara, Brihadvishwa, Kampila, and Sanjaya. Bharmyashva prayed to his sons, "O my sons, please take charge of my 5 states, for you are quite competent to do so." Thus his 5 sons were known as the Panchalas. From Mudgala came a dynasty of Brahmanas known as Maudgalya. Mitunam Mudgalad Bharmyad Divo Dasa Puman Abhut Ahalya Kanyaka Yasyam Shatanandastu Gautamat. Mudgala, the son of Bharmyashva, had twin children, one male and the other female. The male child was named Divodasa and the female child was named Ahalya. From the womb of Ahalya, by the semen of her husband Gautama, came a son named Shatananda. Text 35. Tasya satyadriti putro dhanur veda visharadaha Sharadvam suto yasman urvashi darshanat kila Sharastambe patadreto mitunam tad abhut shubham. The son of Shatananda was Satyadriti, who was expert in archery, and the son of Satyadriti was Sharadvan. When Sharadvan met Urvashi, he discharged semen, which fell on a clump of Shara grass. From this semen were born two all auspicious babies, one male and the other female. This is the last text of this chapter. Text 36. Tad drishtva kripaya grinnach chantanur charan kripa kumara kanya cha drona patnyabhavat kripi. While Maharaja Shantanu was on a hunting excursion, he saw the male and female children lying in the forest, and out of compassion, he took them home. Consequently, the male child was known as Kripa and the female child was named Kripi. Kripi later became the wife of Dronacharya. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the ninth canto, 21st chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Dynasty of Bharata. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta translations from texts 26 to 36 of Canto 9, Chapter 21, entitled The Dynasty of Bharata. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we saw a list of names of the descendants of King Bharata, the son of Dushmanta, who was one of the famous Bharatas who had ruled this world and is supposed to be a partial expansion of the Supreme Lord himself. So we can see a lot of names of the kings of this dynasty of Bharata is being referred, and maybe one or two descriptions of some of the kings and their contributions is being narrated here, but not of every other king described here or every other descendant, because uh, then the pages of Bhagavatam will become very voluminous. To describe each of them also takes a good length of time because each of them are extremely glorious. So Shukadeva Goswami just mentioned here and there some few things about them, not much. Like he talked about uh, Kriti, who had achieved all the perfections of the eight mystic powers directly from Lord Brahma. And he taught the six Samhitas. Samhita means Vedic literature. To uh, Samhitas from the Samaveda, particular part of the Samhita, Samaveda, called Pratyasama. Pratyasama verses from the Samaveda. And he gave charge of the five states for five competent sons hailing from Bharmyashva, named Mudgala, Yavinara, Brihadvishwa, Kampilla, Sanjaya, etc. Then he goes on to describe how about Sharadvan, how he discharged semen and it fell on a um, clump of shara grass and it produced two beautiful children, one male and one female. That was called Kripa and Kripi. There's nobody to attend to them. That's why it's called. So Shantanu Maharaj once came on an excursion and out of compassion, he adopted both these babies and brought them up. That's why they're called Kripa. Kripa means the compassion of Maharaj Shantanu. And Kripi, that is for the Strilinga, sort of compassion for this female child. He adopted both of them, Kripa and Kripi. And as we know, Kripa was one of the powerful commanders, of course, on the side of Duryodhan. And he, of the 18 days of the Mahabharata battle which took place, he was leading one of the days, Kripacharya. Dronacharya led one of the days, Bhishma Dev led. So many great Maharathis led the 18-day warfare on the side of Duryodhana. So Kripacharya was one of the powerful commanders on Duryodhana's side. So he also led Duryodhana's army and a very, very great Brahmana. Highly esteemed even by Pandavas. Even though Kripacharya acted as their apparent enemy, still Pandavas held him in high esteem. So much so that before Yudhishthir Maharaj and the Pandavas left for Mahaprasthan, they gave up their kingly life and they wanted to devote their time exclusively for Krishna consciousness. So they appointed Parikshit Maharaj as the emperor of the earth and they gave him under the charge of Kripacharya as his guru to guide him. So you can just imagine. So such a great soul this Kripacharya was. And his sister Kripi was married to Dronacharya, another very, very great, powerful Brahmana and teacher. And Kripacharya and Dronacharya, both of them were experts in the science of Dhanurveda or the science of archery. So why are we discussing all these things? Because we can see from the next chapter, we will get to know how in this dynasty many great personalities, great devotees are going to take birth. Like here we already saw Shantanu Maharaj. From him Bhishma Dev comes, one of the Dvadasha Mahajana. Then from Bhishma Dev onwards, we will see Pandu Maharaj, another great devotee, and his sons, the five Pandavas, they will appear in this dynasty. Then Parikshit Maharaj, Janamejaya, who established thousands of Krishna temples after the passing away of all the Pandavas. And even Parikshit Maharaj. So Janamejaya established today what we see in many temples of Krishna, especially in the north, thousands of them were installed and established by Janamejaya. Today we will not even be having to see those temples otherwise. So then we will also see Drupada Maharaj, the father of Draupadi, also taking birth in this dynasty. Draupadi also taking birth. Then the famous kings from the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Drishtaketu, Drishtadyumna, and of course the five sons of Draupadi, all glorious, all of them taking birth in this dynasty. So, the scriptures say, hearing about Krishna is very auspicious, and anything about Krishna is all auspicious. Krishna, Krishna's name, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's instructions, Krishna's world, Krishna's qualities, everything connected with Krishna, Krishna's form, Krishna's deity, everything is glorious and very auspicious and purifying. Similarly, scriptures say even hearing about Krishna's devotees is equally purifying, equally glorious, and auspicious. So therefore, even hearing these names, just like people chant Vishnu Sahasranam, which is very purifying. There are many in India. Every day they chant Vishnu Sahasranam. On a daily basis they chant. Some of them chant 2 times a day. Some of them chant continuously Vishnu Sahasranama. It's very purifying. All names of Vishnu. So like that, simply hearing these names of Vishnu and Vishnu's devotees is simply purifying. We may not know anything about these people, does not matter. Simply we hear the names of the devotees and the descendants in the devotees' families, it's extremely purifying. So this is the glory of these personalities. That is where Bhagavatam is presenting the dynasty and the details of all these personalities. This is from one perspective. We can also see this is ideal grahastha life. How they're producing such yoni or progeny who are all meant to become pure devotees, or descendants who are extremely glorious, who are bearing that yoni or that semen. See, very powerful, very special. All these great personalities in their lineage, they're bearing the semen and the yoni of the upcoming pure devotees. And this dynasty is producing generation after generation pure devotees. Not just one in the entire lineage. Generation after generation, time and again they're producing pure devotees. Even Kuru, Kuru Vamsha. Kuru was a great devotee of Krishna. He is also coming in this dynasty. So like that, so many great personalities have come about in dynasty. So this dynasty is actually containing and passing on a powerful bija and yoni, both. Very special. Bijam means the source of birth from the father. Yoni means from the mother. So the bija and yoni both are very important. The bijam is placed in the yoni. It's very special. So many great devotees are taking birth. So this is good progeny. This is ideal grahastha life. Like this, we can, the grahasthas in the world, if they become Krishna conscious, they can make this entire world a Vaikuntha by giving birth to such kind of progeny who will all become Mahabhagavatas, pure devotees, or descendants who will carry the yoni of the pure devotees eventually. How special it is. Like it is said in the scriptures, if there is a good tree within a garden or a forest, the entire garden or forest will become fragrant. One nice tree you plant and it gives out its fragrance, it will spread all through the garden. Similarly, it is said, one good son can bring about glory for the entire lineage. One good son. The converse is also true. You plant one poison tree, entire garden is spoiled, or entire forest is spoiled, becomes poisonous. Similarly, one bad son in the lineage, the entire glory of the dynasty is lost. So therefore, this good progeny is very important. And Prabhupada says we require such nice Krishna conscious children everywhere across the world. So Grihasthas therefore are playing a very important and a crucial role in spreading of Krishna consciousness by giving birth to children who can take part in Krishna consciousness and spread Krishna consciousness. Once Srila Prabhupada was gifted a shaligram by one Brahmin. So Prabhupada had one disciple who was whom he considered a Pandit. He was also a Pandit. So his name was Pradyumna. It's quite well known in the ISKCON circles. He's known as Pandit. So Prabhupada said, would you like to take the shaligram and worship at your home? So he felt very glad. Oh, Prabhupada gave me a shaligram. I'm so blessed. So readily he accepted. Yes, yes, I am very, very thankful to you, Prabhupada. And then he accepted the shaligram. Then there was one more well-known devotee in ISKCON by name Brahmananda Prabhu. So he said, Prabhupada, actually he is a Brahmana Pandit. So he is also training his son Aniruddha to become similarly like him. Prabhupada smilingly said, yes, yes, that's true. His son is also great Pandit. And both of them are devotees, husband and wife. Pradyumna and his wife both are devotees. That is why his son is also a devotee. Then Prabhupada quoted this, Yatha Bijam, Yatha Yoni. So Bijam is from the father, Yoni is from the mother. Yoni means the container actually, in the mother's womb. And the Bija is the semen given by the father. So then Prabhupada went on to say about himself that actually that is a fact. Even I am very fortunate. I had a good father and a good spiritual master. So Prabhupada was very happy about it. Then there's one more devotee named Gargamuni. He said, but Prabhupada, we are very unfortunate. We have a bad father. But then he said, but we have a good spiritual master. So in that way, at least it got compensated. But Prabhupada didn't agree. He said, no, because your father has produced a great son, good devotee son like you, addressing Gargamuni. Therefore, your father can't be bad. He is also very good. Because otherwise he cannot produce a good son, a devotee son like you. Then again Prabhupada quoted, Yatha Yoni, Yatha Bijam. So therefore, if the sons are all devotees, then their mother and father are certainly very good. By default. They cannot be bad. How can they give birth to such nice children otherwise? That they're becoming devotees of Krishna. So therefore, the conclusion is, such mothers and fathers are very nice. So that is one part of this series of verses. Now the other part is that, as I was trying to say, uh, hearing about hearing from the pages of Bhagavatam itself is very, very auspicious and very desirable for the conditioned soul. One place Prabhupada said that actually, if you love someone, you would like to hear him more. You don't want to go away. One place Prabhupada said that. If you love a person, you want to hear him go on speaking. And you just want to sit and keep on hearing. So, if we love Krishna, our only business is to simply sit and hear Bhagavatam. That means the symptom is you are loving Krishna. Why will you sit and hear Bhagavatam otherwise? Or Bhagavad Gita. If you love Krishna, you would like to hear about Krishna, your lover, your beloved. Just like somebody walks into your home, some stranger, even if it's a stranger, I'm just telling, and then starts talking about your family, your father, your grandfather, about your family, and keeps telling good things, nice things, their contribution, etc., etc. So you become very eager. Oh, who is this person who is describing about my father, my grandfather, my mother, my grandmother, my brother? So much he knows. So you become even more and more attentive, alert, interested, because it's your own family, your own father, your own forefathers he is talking, he is glorifying. It is natural, and you become very pleased. So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is simply talking about Krishna and devotees of Krishna. So who will not be interested in hearing Bhagavatam? That is why in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th chapter, text number 9, Krishna particularly says, a very famous, well-known verse is from the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Madchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. It's a very famous and a very important verse from Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is saying, the thoughts of my pure devotees always dwell in me. Madchitta, madgata prana. They always dwell in me. And their lives are fully dedicated to my service. Madgata prana. Madgata. Their life is fully dedicated to me. Prana. To my service. Katayantascha mam nityam. They constantly discuss about me. Katayantaha. About whom? Mam. How long? Half an hour Bhagavatam class, 1 hour? Nityam. 24/7. Katayantasya mam nityam. And is it with great difficulty or a great tapasya? Tushyanti cha. Further Krishna says, Ramanti cha. They take great pleasure. Tushyanti means to become very pleased. And Ramanti, they relish. Great eagerness, with great relish and great satisfaction. Especially somebody is talking about your family. You know Muksilva? You are still not completed? How much will you talk about my father? How much will you talk about my sister? Enough, no? Time is running. Who is that person who will tell like that, right? Rather you'll be thinking, talk some more, continue. So like that. Tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. So the devotees of the Lord, they relish and they take great satisfaction and pleasure in hearing about Krishna, discussing about Krishna, especially among themselves. And it is such an important act, sitting and hearing this Bhagavatam or message of Krishna or Krishna Katha or Krishna's devotees, hearing about Krishna's devotees, so important in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, text 70. Krishna makes a very grave statement. Adyeshate chaya imam dharmyam samvadam avayo jnana yagnene tenaham ishtasyam iti me matihi. One of the most important verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying here, Adyeshate chaya imam dharmyam samvadam avayo. Avayo means between us. That means between Krishna and Arjuna. Dharma samvada. It's a sacred, Krishna uses the word dharma samvada. Samvada means conversation, discussion. Samvada. Dharmyam samvada means sacred conversation. So Krishna is saying the entire Bhagavad Gita is actually a sacred narrative, sacred conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And Adyeshyate chaya imam. Imam, this Adyeshyate, one who discusses, studies, hears. Adyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam sammadvavayo jnana yagnena tenaham ishtasyam iti me matihi. Jnana yagnena tenaham ishtaha means he is worshipping me through his intelligence. Krishna is saying, so discussing Bhagavad Gita is actually worship of Krishna. Just we finished Arati, we came for the class. Arati is not over. Arati is continuing in the form of discussing Srimad Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The worship is still continuing. So Ishtasyam. And Krishna is saying, Iti me matihi. This is my opinion. Actually, Prabhupada translates matihi as declaration. You know, we say declaration of will. That word declaration is very strong. Krishna is saying, I declare. The exact translation Prabhupada writes like this. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, particularly, there are two kinds of Krishna Katha. This is the very first of them which I hear in ISKCON when I came. Very commonly devotees keep telling this. Every now and then they keep quoting. There's a very famous reference by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, there are two kinds of Krishna Katha. Anybody knows? There are two kinds of Krishna Katha. Which are they? And Chaitanya says, these two are very, very favorable to cultivate one's bhakti or devotion. One is Srimad Bhagavatam, the other is Bhagavad Gita. So what is the difference? Many times people ask, what is this Bhagavad Gita? What is this Bhagavatam? Many times people ask. So Bhagavad Gita is that which is spoken by Lord Krishna. Bhagavatam is spoken about the glories of Krishna by great devotees like Pandavas, Bhishma Dev, Ambarish Maharaj, Prahalad, Narad Muni, many great devotees glorify Krishna. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. So both of them are very favorable in developing one's bhakti. So we will now try to discuss about 15 benefits of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. A quick analysis. 15 benefits of hearing Bhagavat Katha. This is again from the texts of Bhagavatam. The first one. Srinmatam Swakatha. In fact, the verse itself begins like this. Srinmatam Swakatha. Srinmatam means to hear. Katha, Swakatha. Whose Katha? It is not your Katha or my Katha or Mysore Katha. We have Mysore Mitra, all these things. Mysore Daily. Shinmatam Swakata Krishna. Hearing Krishna Katha bestows 15 benefits. Actually much more, but today we'll discuss only 15. Punya Shravana, the first benefit. Simply hearing Krishna Katha itself is punya, the highest punya. In India, people especially are very eager to earn punya in their life, especially in India. Especially ladies. So much they do. So Bhagavatam's recommendation is simply sit and you can get the highest punya, accrue the highest punya. Sit and hear about Krishna. So punya shravana, kirtanaha means hearing about Krishna, describing Krishna. Hridayantastaha apadrani vidhunoti. Hearing Krishna Katha is simply purifying. Vidhunoti means to purify the heart. Then, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. All the dirty things in your heart, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. People take sannyas, people go to Himalayas, people go to Haridwar to purify themselves. They go to different tirthas and take a dip. Every tirtha, they go and take a dip to purify themselves. Nothing required. Simply sit here and hear about Krishna. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. All dirty things in your heart is purified. This third one. Then fourth, bhakti naishtiki. You become fixed up in bhakti. You become a strong devotee, fixed up devotee. Not a sentimental devotee. You'll become a very strong devotee of Krishna. Bhakti naishtiki. Then, tada rajas tamo bhavaha. By hearing about Krishna from the pages of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, these two scriptures particularly as recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, tada rajas tamo bhavaha. The rajoguna and tamoguna, which is most dominating in Kali Yuga, the effects of rajoguna tamoguna becomes weakened. It becomes weak. It cannot affect you. Then that's the fourth one. That's the fifth one. Then the sixth one. Kama lobha dayaschaye. Your kama and lobha will be decreased and eventually become zero. Kama means lust or material desire for sense gratification. Lobha means material greed. So they will subside. They'll become almost nil. Then, number 7, Cheta etair anavidham. You become enlightened in your consciousness becomes steady. Cheta etair anavidham. You become steady in the position of pure goodness. Cheta etair anavidham. Become steady in sattva, pure goodness. Then sthitam sattve prasidati. Prasidati, being fixed up in that sattva guna, you actually become prasidati, very happy. You become happy. That's the 8th one. Then 9th, evam prasanna manasaha. You become very joyful. Your mind becomes joyful. Prasanna manasa. See, people do so many things to become joyful. Simply hearing Bhagavatam, you become joyful. Then Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. You gain positive scientific knowledge of the Supreme Lord. You don't have to go to school and college. Simply by hearing Krishna, you gain positive scientific knowledge of Krishna. And when you know Krishna, you know everything. Yasmin Vignate Sarvamevam Vignatam Bhavati is the Vedic version. Then, so that's number 10, positive scientific knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Then number 11, Mukta Sangasya Jayate. You become liberated. Even without going to Himalayas and Haridwar and Rishikesh. Simply hear about Krishna. Sitting here, you will become a Mukta Purusha by hearing Krishna. Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Doesn't end. That's number 11. Then number 12, Vidyate Hridaya Grantihi. Hridaya Granthi, the hard knot of attachment to this world, to this body, Vidyate is cut. Chidyante Sarva Shamshaya. All your doubts about Krishna, spiritual, whether I am Atma or I am this body, whether I belong to this world, is God really there or not? Is Vaikuntha there? Is Krishna really God or in imagination? Do I have any connection with Krishna? Is that true what people say, that we are all children of God and there is this kingdom of God where to go there? So all these kind of doubts. So Chidyante Sarva Samshaya. All doubts will be finished. Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. Then all the knots of karma, Kshiyante, will be cut off. Crores and crores of dharma of karma, loads will be cut off. Then Drishta Evatmanishware. You will be able to see the self as the master. You can see Paramatma, Krishna, right in your heart. As your director, your master. That is why in the Bhagavad Gita, if you see, Krishna is saying, because Bhagavatam is elaboration of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is saying in the 72nd text, 18th chapter, after Krishna instructed the whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, Kachit etach shrutam partha tvaya ekena tvayaiva eka agrena chetasa kachit ajnana sammoha pranashtaste dhananjaya. Krishna is asking Arjuna, Oh Arjuna, did you hear this with attentive mind? Tvayekagrena chetasa. Did you hear it with your attentive mind? Why? Because one effect is to be seen. What is that? Kachit ajnana sammoha pranashtaha. Pranashtaha. Nashtaha means loss. Pranashta means complete loss. Absence. Complete absence of ajnana and sammoha. Two things must happen. Your ignorance must be gone. And sammoha, you should be free from illusion by hearing Bhagavad Gita or hearing about Krishna, Krishna's instructions, Krishna's words of direction. Or the Bhagavatam's instructions and directions, if we hear, two things must happen. Free from ignorance, you should be free from all kinds of ignorance, and illusions. And Arjuna confirms that in the very next verse, text 73, which is very famous. Arjuna assures, yes, Krishna, my ignorance is gone. I have understood my connection with you. My illusions are gone. I am re-established in my memory of Krishna consciousness. I am prepared to act as you instruct. This is the effect of hearing about Krishna, that you become ready to follow Krishna or the devotee of Krishna, the spiritual master. So like that. So that is why. So this hearing of Bhagavatam is very, very purifying. And there are many, many more such references. So that's how Prabhupada instituted a system of hearing Bhagavatam every single day. It is so purifying. Simply liberating. You can actually feel that. Simply purifying. And the highest auspicious activity. Simply sit and hear about Krishna. Or give opportunity for people to hear about Krishna by describing about Krishna. Therefore, Chaitanya Prabhu said, Yare dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Simply go on talking about Krishna to whoever you meet, whatever you know, whatever you heard, but from authorities, not speculative. Should hear from the lips of devotees, not from non-devotees. Avaishnavam mukodgirna, shravanam na kartavyam. Don't hear from non-devotees. Hear from devotees. And narrate the same to the others. They'll also become devotees. It's very purifying. I'll stop here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय.